This is the first day in about 4 months where you can really see the mountain. Obviously, you can see it much better in person. Cameras never do this justice. I need a camera that can focus very far away. Today is part 2 in letting go, and we're letting go of expectations today, saying goodbye to my peacocks and saying goodbye to my butterfly garden. Nobody puts expectations more on myself than me. I am the best at putting expectations on myself. I've always been that way. Even as I was a young kid. Maybe it's because, I don't know, eldest daughter syndrome. Who can relate? Anyway, saying goodbye to the first pair of peacocks to leave. This pair consisted of our oldest and our matron, Peahen Emerald. It was really hard to watch her go. We've had her for 10 years. She was the grandmother of all of the peacocks that we've ever had, and this woman asked us why we were getting rid of them, and basically to lighten our load. We're just getting older, and there's just trying to keep all of this stuff. We no longer have our boys here. They've grown and gone out of the house, and peacocks were more of a yard decoration, really. And now that we are gardening, they were tearing things up. They even went so far as to go to the neighbor's place, which the neighbor lives like 500 yards away, and we're getting into their garden. So we ended up having to build a run for them and keep them inside and locked up in the run. And it's just no fun for them. And they weren't as fun for us once we had to keep them confined. It was just an extra expense, not only financially, but physically, energy-wise. And I'm trying to let go of the expectations that I need to have and do everything. So, goodbye, peacocks. Bye, peacocks. The last of the peacocks.
Yeah, let me know. Send me a message. Let me know if any of them hatched.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
The next expectation I'm saying goodbye to is my butterfly garden. All of the expectations I put upon myself of trying to continue to upkeep the butterfly garden, trying to make the front yard pretty and expanding that, and trying to keep the house clean and all of the animals and keeping all of the animals that I love and I want is just an impossible expectation that I can no longer live up to with all of the newer health problems I have incurred over this last year on top of my already existing ones. Just in case any of you missed Dexter, as you can see, this is not a sight for sore eyes. It actually makes my eyes sore. But there are a few little reasons why I am letting go of the butterfly garden. And the first one is, for instance, all of these trees, when I first started it, the only two trees that were here are these two noble firs, the Christmas trees, right next to the arbor. Those were the only two that were there, and they were literally like half the size, maybe even shorter than half the size. And you can see my shadow. They were hardly taller than I am, and now look how tall they've grown in the last, I guess it's been 8 years, but there's two of them. And so this one here in the middle, that was not there at all. Either was the oak trees that are growing, or the other way in the back, the other Douglas fir down there. This Douglas fir wasn't here. This was just a field of weeds like it currently is now for the most part. And the other tree down here, the other Douglas fir, that wasn't there either. And then there's another one to the left of that. That wasn't here either. Either the wind pollinated it or the birds did. Either way, I did not plant those, and they were not here when I started. So, because of that, this was an all sunny area. Everything I had planted in here was meant for the sun. But now with all of these trees here, it's shaded up pretty much most of the morning. And then I had the fence back here for a reason, because the Christmas tree growers sprayed, and so I had the fence, and we started building the berm, and so that kind of blocks the sun from the evening time. So it doesn't get as much sun as it used to. And all of this stuff is mostly sunflowers. So that's one of the reasons that I'm not continuing the butterfly garden. It's just going to continue to get shadier. Another reason is the hardware is falling apart. My son and I made this brick road. It was yellow, like Yellow Brick Road in the Wizard of Oz. Now we didn't do it properly. We should have like dug into the dirt and leveled it out before we poured the cement into the molds. But we didn't do that. We just leveled out the top of the dirt and then poured the cement into the mold. Now we know better, but it wasn't made very well, and so it's falling apart. And I really don't want to have to redo it. My son is gone. He's no longer here to help me with things. And it was hard back then with my son, and that was 8 years ago. And the other reason, the arbor is also falling apart. We had cemented the bottom of the arbor on both sides, but over here it is already busted. I don't know if the tree just pushed it out when it grew and that's how it busted off, but anyway, it's just more replacing into a place that I just don't have the energy to take care of anymore. So it's a little bit more than the upkeep of the weeding around here. It's just needs to be all redone again. My poor Monarch way station it's still a Monarch way station. I mean, there's still water in that thing. And there is still milkweed here. There's 2 different types of milkweed, and there's butterfly weed, the Asclepia. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but that's basically what Monarch caterpillars need. And then there's snowberry, there's still the Nootka rose, there's the wild lilac, which took off like a weed, holy cow. And then the oak tree and the garden lilac. The lupin looks like it's still alive this year. The ocean spray shrub behind that. It looks like there's the pearly everlasting behind the ocean spray. It popped up this year. I think the goldenrod gave up the ghost, so I wasn't down here taking care of it. The passion vine gave up the ghost last year. The lavender has exploded. It's still alive. And it looks like another oak tree has grown here since last year. Right there. And then there's another wild lilac, a different type in that corner behind the lavender. We'll go look at that. Every year I would plant blue violets and rose mallow, and I'd have to plant them every year, not because they're annuals, but because the wildlife would eat them. Wildlife loves those things. Yeah, so that's another wild lilac. One of them's blue blossom, and the other one was I don't remember which one it was. One of the white colored ones. And that's ocean spray. The rabbit ate the Indian cherry tree that was planted in between those two. The daisies still popped up. There's still penstemon over there. And so I'm going to leave all that here. It looks like those might continue to thrive. At least the shrubs might continue to thrive amongst the weeds. So I'm not going to take them out. They'll just stay here, and whatever makes it, makes it. But it's kind of sad to say goodbye to my butterfly garden. These are shots and video of what it used to look like. And this butterfly garden was my saving grace from my toxic mother-in-law, and my husband would be the first to agree with that statement. It was a little escape while raising 3 teenage stepsons. And my mom used to come visit me down here in the garden, and we'd talk down here. And so this butterfly garden was a safe haven, a stress reliever, just enjoying nature down here. And that's one of the reasons why it's so far from the house, because I wanted to just get away from it all. But now, because it is so far from the house, it's hard for me to get down here and work. And with my livestock guardian dog getting older, predators are starting to come back a little bit more than they used to, and so I just don't feel comfortable down here working by myself alone anymore like I used to. I'm not as quick as I once was. I can't get up off the ground as fast as I used to. I just love the fact that I can come down to this garden and see so many pollinators. But I hope you enjoy some of these shots and video from what it used to look like. And this is not a goodbye to the butterflies. I am going to be planting more pollinator and butterfly specific plants up in the front yard. And who knows, maybe a miracle will happen and my health will suddenly get better. And so maybe it's not a forever goodbye. Who knows? But for now, it's a goodbye. Goodbye, butterfly garden.